In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and get some text from one of our question structs to show up here in the game. So we're going to have the question going across the banner, and each of these buttons get filled in with one of the answers. So let's get started on that. Go over to the project, we're going to open up the trivia game, and we're going to start off by first importing a new library for us to use, because we're going to need to access these UI elements, so the buttons and the text there. So let's go ahead and say using, which means we're going to basically import this library, and it's going to be Unity Engine. So type in Unity Engine and then dot. So we're going to access the UI part of the Unity Engine, and then just put a semicolon there at the end. So now we've imported that. So now what we need to do is create a new variable, a new public button. There's actually going to be a button array, so I'm going to put this here as well, and this is going to be our answers, answer buttons. We'll call it that. In fact, let's go ahead and just fix some of these other variable names, make them a little better. So instead of test questions, call this current question, and for correct answer, int doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense for that, so let's put index at the end. So index, now it's correct answer index. That makes more sense for an int. So let's go ahead and change these over here as well. It's correct answer index, and then over here one last time. Okay, cool, now we fixed all that. So what we need to do now is add one more variable. So public, and then this is going to be a text object, and it's going to be the question text. Okay, cool. And so this question text has a scope of the class. So it's going to be a little different from this question text, because this question text is a part of the question. So anyway, that's fine. We'll continue onward. We need to make a new function, and we're going to start this function out by typing in void in the front, because void is a keyword, meaning we are not going to return anything from this function. So once we have that, we need to give the function a name. So we're going to call it assign question. And I'm going to actually make that first a lowercase. Okay. And for parameter, we're going to leave that blank for right now, just like that. Okay. Now inside of this, we are going to set the question text to equal the text of our current question. So now you would think you just set the text equal to this, the question text, but we actually need to do a dot text, because this text is not quite the text of the text object. We actually have to put text at the end. So dot text, and then equal to let's see, we need to do current question dot question text. There we go. Now we have that assigned. Now we need to use something called a for loop to go through each of the elements in our buttons array and assign each of these buttons some text, the text from each element. So of the current question array. So we need to create a for loop. So I type in for, and then a parenthesis, and then I need to create a temporary variable here that we're going to be using to sort of keep track of where we are in terms of where, we start on this one, then we're on this one, then we're on that one. So where are we in that? So it's going to be an int, and now I'm just going to give it the name I, just to not too important, just any name will work, but I is a pretty conventional name to use for this. You set that here, so I equal to 0, and then semicolon, and then you're going to say I is less than. So this little caret with the point going towards the I means I less than, and then whatever's on the other side of it. So for I being less than, what do we want to be less than? We want it to be less than the number of buttons. Okay, so answer buttons dot length. So for less than that, we're going to continue to, and I'm going to put a semicolon for this next part of the for loop. We're going to increment, means increase the variable I by 1. So there's a shorthand for this. If I say I plus plus, that means add 1 to I every time you go through this loop. So I'm going to close that out with a parenthesis and then put in my curly braces here. Now, so what this is going to do is it's going to run whatever code is inside the for loop, and then at the end it's going to increment I, and then it's going to do it again and again and again until I is either equal to or greater than answer buttons.length. So once it finishes that, it will exit out of the for loop and continue on with the code. So what do we want to happen in here? Well, we want to access the answer buttons. We want to access their text. So for that, we need to actually get a component. So now, as you can see in the inspector over here, there are components for our objects, and if we just go ahead and open up our buttons, there's no text object in here. There's no component for text. So we actually have to get a component in the child, because there's a child that has the text. So in here, we can access the text component and change the text. So that's important. We should go do that. So if I go over here, answer buttons dot, and this is a new function, get component. And I think we have some error in here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then go over here and see what the error is, because I'm not getting the things to autocomplete. So let's see, test question. Let's see. Test question. Oh yes, we changed that, but we didn't fix that here. Let's just go and get rid of this print statement anyway. We don't need it anymore. So get rid of that. Okay. Now in here, if I type in answer buttons dot get component, let's see, dot game object. Let's just go ahead and test this and see if it's so we still have an error. So I saved it. Looks like we're good. Okay, so get component in children. This is the function we need. So, oh, I know what we were doing wrong. This is important. So you could get stuck on something like this, and if that happens, it's very simple. I was trying to access, so get component of an array, and arrays don't have a component. The things that I put into the array have components. So let's try to do that. So let's go ahead, put in a bracket, and then let's put in I, and then close bracket. And now dot get component in children. Right, so that's important. Now you can see that we're just accessing the ith index, and that changes as we go through the for loop. So that'll keep getting increased by 1, and we'll keep accessing each of them until we get all the way to the end. So, very cool. Now get component in children, and we need to use a left and right caret. So I'm going to go and put in that one. And then we need to put in the name of the component we're trying to get. So it's a text component. And then the other caret. And now parentheses, right, like that. And then dot text. I know there's a lot to take in, but it's not too bad. We've done it once or twice. And we need to set that equal to the current question dot, and this is the answers at I. Okay, so let's go over that one more time, what we're doing in here. So we're getting the question text dot text that it's just a text object up here, and we're setting the equal to our question text, and we're going through each of the answer buttons, getting a component in our children, and since there's only one child and that one child has a text component, it's going to get that text component. We're going to access its text, and we're going to set that equal to the current question dot answer at I. Now we don't have enough answers right now to fill that out, so let's go ahead and add a few more in here. So white and black. Okay. And I need to make sure I do that. Yeah. Okay. Now we have all of that. Now we need to actually call this function so it actually gets run. It doesn't get run automatically like the start and update, but we can go ahead and call this inside of our start, so it gets run at the beginning, just like that. There we go, we have that. And let's just go ahead, save that, go back over here, see what errors come up. Looks like we're good, except for that, but don't worry about that. That's a warning, not an error anyway. Now let's go to our main camera, and let's go over here. We can see we have some new things we need to assign. So we have down here in the inspector, our trivia game loop, we have some answer buttons and some question text, and we can go ahead and start assigning these from things over here. So what is this? This is this text object here. One thing I can do is I can go up here to the inspector. I can, this little lock, if I just click on that, then I can select things over here, and I will still keep the inspector for this. So it's important to remember, if you do that and you're clicking other things and this isn't changing, what's going on, you might have to unlock it. So you just click it again to unlock. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and select the main camera. I'm going to, I know it's this text, I'm going to drag and drop it into the question text. And then for the answer buttons, I can go ahead and just grab these buttons and drag them in there. So grab the first button, drag it on top of answer buttons, grab the second button. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Okay. And drag it in there. And I think I can do it like this. I can grab, well, let me first lock this. And we grab 2 through 4 and drag and drop those. Let's see if that did the right order. Yes, it did. Sweet. Okay, that worked. So happy. Okay, now that's done. Let's go ahead and press play and see what breaks. Now it looks like it worked, except we don't have a question mark at the end. Let's fix that because I am nitpicky. There we go. That is it. So now we have our text being assigned here in the game. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.